Welcome back class 6 to the online bio classes. We had already completed chapter 2, the flower. Now some answers or the exercises we are already complete. Today we have to start with question number J. Differentiate between. I will do one or two here on the board. After that I will show you in that paper the answers. Self-pollination. Differentiate between self-pollination and cross-pollination. So you will write in your copy all the answers of differentiate between in the tabular form only. Okay, no need to write straight. Like first point, you can write point number 1. What is self-pollination? Transfer of pollen grains. Transfer of pollen grains from the anther of one flower to the stigma of same flower or another flower of the same plant. Okay, this is the complete definition. Here in cross-pollination, the definition you write transfer of pollen grains from the anther of a flower of one plant to the stigma of another flower to a stigma of a flower of another plant. Okay, to a stigma of the flower of another plant of the same species also you can write. Now second difference I am writing here. In self-pollination, only one plant is required. Only one plant is needed. Here you can write under cross-pollination, two plants are required or needed to carry out the process of cross-pollination. Okay. Then next we will do animal pollinated flower and water pollinated flower. Question number 2 is animal pollinated and water pollinated flowers. Okay, question number 2. Animal pollinated flowers and the second one is water pollinated flowers. We have to differentiate between them. That is, what is the differences between these two types of flowers. Okay, let's see. First one, they have large, showy and brightly colored flowers. Under animal pollinated you will write they have large, showy and brightly colored flowers. Under water pollinated flowers you write they have small non-showy flowers. They have small non-showy flowers with light pollens. Means pollens are light in weight. Okay, and the second difference which I will write here under animal pollinated flowers, pollens are sticky or spiny. The pollen grains, that is the male gametes, are sticky or spiny, means they have spine-like outgrowths so that they can attach to the body of animals and they can be carried from one flower to the other. Under water pollinated, pollens are covered by waxy layer. Pollens are covered by a waxy layer to protect them from being spoiled by water. Okay, then next we have to do is third one, dry fruits and fleshy fruits. Okay, next you can see dry fruits and fleshy fruits. What is the difference between them? Number one, in dry fruits, the entire pericarp becomes dry at maturity. Under fleshy fruits, you will write the pericarp. Pericarp is the name given to the covering of fruits. It develops into succulent tissue. Succulent tissues means the tissues which have become fleshy, that store food materials inside them. And the second point is the pericarp is thin and cannot be differentiated into epicarp, mesocarp and endocarp. Example, pea and walnut. Under fleshy fruits, the pericarp can be differentiated into outer epicarp, middle mesocarp and inner endocarp. Example, mango and orange. Many more we can give examples. Now next question is differentiate between monocot seed and dicot seed. Monocot seed, seeds with one cotyledon, is called monocot seed. Example, maize and rice. And seeds with two cotyledons are called dicot seeds. Example, pea and beans. Now question number K, you can see in the book question number K, short answer questions. There are 6 questions. First one is, what do you understand by thalamus? The answer is the swollen suppressed end of the stalk on which floral parts are seated. Okay, floral parts are seated is called thalamus. The next question is, what is the function of calyx and corolla? Calyx is the outermost layer of the flower which is green in color. It contains leaf-like structures called sepals. So its function is to protect the flower in bud stage and prepare food by photosynthesis. Corolla consists of colorful petals and the petals attract insects for pollination. So function of corolla is to attract the insects for pollination. Third one is, what are the parts of stamen and carpel? Third question is short question. Stamen is, as you know, is the male part of the flower, and each stamen consists of 2 parts, a long slender filament and an anther is present at the tip. So next one is carpel. Carpel is the female part of the flower. It consists of 3 parts, stigma, style and ovary. Then question number 4, what are the 2 types of pollination in flowering plants? So only the names I have written. The 2 types of pollination in flowering plants are self-pollination and cross-pollination. Only names I have written. If you want, you can write the full sentence. The 2 types of pollination in flowering plants are self-pollination and cross-pollination. Like this also. Then question number 5 is, give one example each of flowers pollinated by wind, water and insect. So I have written here wind pollinated flowers. You can see example maize. Water pollinated flower, the example is Vallisneria. Insect pollinated flower, the example is sunflower. And the last question number 6 is, name the parts of a fleshy fruit. The parts of a fleshy fruit are epicarp, mesocarp, endocarp and seeds. Now we have to move on to the next section, that is the long answer questions in your book. There are 6 questions you can see. So one by one, we'll do all the 6 questions and complete the exercises. First one is, draw a label diagram of a flower and describe each part. So the diagram which you have to do from the book is this one, the flower, China rose flower. Okay, in which you have to write the bisexual flower, in which all the parts of the flower is shown: stigma, anther, style, filament, sepals, ovary. The diagram I had drawn on the board also, that also you can do. Okay. Now next one is how to describe it. Number 1, pedicel. The stalk of the flower that attach the flower to the stem is called pedicel. Thalamus. The solen tip of the pedicel on which all floral parts are present is called thalamus. Then you will write, a typical flower consists of 4 parts: calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium. Calyx is the outermost green leaf-like whorl of flower that protect flower in the bud stage and prepare food by photosynthesis. Second one is corolla. It is the second whorl of flower. Whorl means layer, which consists of colored petals to attract insects for pollination. And the third one is androecium. It is the male reproductive part of the flower. Since the answer becomes very long, so I have not mentioned all the details of androecium, like each androecium consists of stamens, each stamen consists of 2 parts, all will be there in androecium only. Then the fourth one is gynoecium. It is the female reproductive part of the flower. Okay. Next question you can see, number 2. Explain how pollination is possible between 2 flowers born on 2 different apple trees in a garden, and name any 2 agents that will be able to pollinate such flowers. The answer is, cross pollination is possible between 2 different apple trees in a garden. So answer is cross pollination, and the bees and butterflies are the agents that will be able to pollinate such flowers. Okay. Then next question is number 3. Explain how fertilization takes place after the pollen grains land on the stigma of the receiving flower. And the answer is, you have to write from this topic, fertilization. After a pollen grain lands on the stigma, it germinates in response to a sugary substance secreted by the stigma. The pollen grain then sends out a pollen tube carrying the male gamete through the style into the ovary till it reaches the ovule. The male gamete is released into the ovule and it fuses with the egg or female gamete. The fusion of male and the female gamete is called fertilization. And then you can draw this diagram also if you want, which show the ovary, the ovule, the pollen grains. Okay. Now we'll move on to the next question. Now next question number 4. How are fruits and seeds formed? Okay. The answer is, after fertilization, from there you will start, a series of changes take place in the flower. All parts of the flower except the ovary wither away. Wither means they will dry away. The petals, sepals, stamens shrink and fall off. In some plants, the sepals persist in the fruit, like tomato and brinjal. Ovary enlarges to become the fruit, and ovule develops into the seed. And the seed contains the embryo, which develops into a baby plant. So up to baby plant. Okay. Now the next question is number 5. Describe the different parts of a fleshy fruit. Okay. Okay. The answer is, a ripe fruit, parts of a fruit. From here you will start. A ripe fruit consists of pericarp and seeds. The pericarp develops from the ovary wall and may be dry or fleshy. If you want, you can draw the diagram also showing parts of a fruit. You can see the seed, pericarp, endocarp, mesocarp, epicarp. Then pericarp is composed of the 3 layers: epicarp, the outer thin skin that covers the entire fruit; mesocarp, the middle pulpy edible layer of the fruit; and endocarp, the hard membranous innermost layer that encloses the seed. Up to seed you can write. Okay. Now the last question number 6. With the help of a level diagram, explain the structure of a typical dicot seed. Okay. with a diagram you have to explain the structure of a dicot seed. Okay, look at the diagram. Parts of a dicot seed. This one only you have to draw. Okay, parts of a dicot seed. What are they? Plumule there, sorry, radicle, seed coat, cotyledons, and the micropyle. Then what are the explanation that you have to give? The explanation is parts of a seed, dicot seed. What are they? Seeds are enclosed within the fruit. A seed contains embryo which gives rise to the new plants. Then you write, seeds consist of the following part. Most seeds from there. Seed coat, one sentence from there. It is the outer protective layer of a seed. Then you write, water enters the seed through a small opening called micropyle. This last sentence you have to write, this one. Okay. Then next one is embryo. It is the part of the seed that develops from the zygote. It consists of radicle. This complete you write, radicle full. It is the embryonic root that gives rise to the root system. When a seed germinates, plumule also write complete. Then you write this one also, cotyledons, also called seed leaves. Okay, then you can write, there are two types and they surround the embryo and nourish the seedling during germination. Okay, up to here only you have to write. Endosperm, this also you can write, it is just below the seed coat and provides food to the embryo. Up to embryo, one sentence only, no need to write complete. Got it? So this much only. As homework you will do, write all the answers and complete it in your copy. Okay, thank you.